Militarily Speaking, episode 26, Dog Tag Bakery.
This episode, we talk with Meghan Ogilvie, CEO of Dog Tag Inc.
Welcome to Militarily Speaking, brought to you by Armed Forces Bank. This is Tom McLean, and somebody who hasn't gotten me Girl Scout cookies in the last few days.
I tried. I'm literally shaking down connections to find
Megan, do you have any Girl
peanut
Scout
butter
cookies?
patties.
Are they still being sold up at either in North Carolina or DC?
I hate to tell you this, but this is a competitor of ours, so I can send you some dog tag cookies if you'd like.
Oh,
If you have anything that tastes like peanut butter and chocolate,
it's got to be peanut butter and chocolate, okay?
We're nut free, so I think I'll work on my connections for you for the Girl Scouts as well. I actually do know someone at National, so I can try to get you a direct line.
He would like a case of them.
A case, and Thin Mints could be Plan B, but
good to know.
I even have my children out looking for.
And oh, by the way, she's been on your website, and she can't wait to order so much stuff.
I ordered things. I may have ordered you something if you're nice.
You all right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, but Jodi Vickery is here today. And you know what's really cool about having Meghan on with us today? It's National Pie Day.
Oh.
Okay.
Did that work out just perfectly or what?
Yeah. Well, assuming they have pie on their
You guys really nailed it.
Yeah.
And I also know something about you. We have something in common, Meghan. Ready? A horse walks into a bar, right? What's the answer to that?
I don't know. Apparently you start working for a one-armed Jesuit priest if you answer it. So
No, it's why the long face, right?
No, I agreed.
Whatever you just tried to do made no sense.
You don't think?
I knew what he was saying.
Okay.
Yeah, we see.
Okay, you'll have to explain it to me later.
I've got plenty of jokes coming up, so if you're okay with that, they're going to come up interspersed. Okay, so
can't wait.
I think it's time to segue into Jodi Vickery.
Yes. For the benefit of all involved. Right? Yes, I'm going to be serious for a minute. Welcome to our show. We digress a lot. We're excited to have you listening and learning about Dog Tag Bakery with our guest, Meghan Ogilvie. I do want to take a minute, just as Tom said, and introduce you, Meghan. Meghan is the Chief Executive Officer of Dog Tag Inc. It's a 501c3 that empowers service-disabled veterans, military spouses, and caregivers through an innovative 5-month fellowship program. She was hired as Dog Tag's first employee in 2012. Meghan partnered with Dog Tag's co-founders to bring their shared vision to life to create a place that equips transitioning veterans and military families with knowledge, skills, and confidence to pursue their career goals post-service. She assumed the role of CEO in 2015 and oversees all aspects of Dog Tag Inc.'s unique, multifaceted social enterprise. And this is kind of a long list, but it includes managing the fellowship program, growing Dog Tag Bakery, and guiding the development and implementation of their long-term strategic vision. As of January 2022, Dog Tag has continued to build out their growth playbook by running fellowships in 2 cities, Washington, D.C. and Chicago. Prior to joining Dog Tag, Meghan spent several years working in finance in New York, first in equities with Lehman Brothers and Barclays, and later within executive management at the Macquarie Group.
Well done.
Yes, I got it. Nailed it.
Wait, there's more about her, isn't there?
Yes, there's even more.
No.
All right,
we're good.
Come on, let's keep going.
This is maybe my favorite part. You're from a military family.
Yes.
Your father and sister graduated from the Naval Academy and serving in the United States Marine Corps. In 2017, Meghan was accepted as a Presidential Leadership Scholar and a recipient of the U.S. Army's Outstanding Civilian Service Award. Kudos to you. That's a big deal. The following year, Meghan was named as a 2018 Rising Star by the Washington Business Journal. I feel inadequate somehow.
That's a full life right there, isn't it? Yeah.
A life well lived.
I represent a lot of people and a lot of generosity of support and mentorship. So I'm proud to have those in representing everybody else. So that's definitely not something I achieved by myself by any means.
And humble on top of it. So yes.
She had to put the icing on the cake, didn't she?
It is impressive. But so welcome. Very glad to have you here and to join us today. I think just to get started, it would be wonderful if you could tell our listeners a little bit about Dog Tag Bakery, your overall mission. I know there's quite a story that we've come to learn a little bit behind the scenes about how Dog Tag came to be, and maybe even shed a little light into your founders, Father Rick Curry and Constance Milstein.
Yeah, I think it's really important to tell the founding story because our organization was really created based on the values of Father Richard Curry and Ambassador Constance Milstein. And both of their lives were dedicated to service and in serving people of different abilities. So Father Richard Curry was born missing his right forearm. and dedicated his entire life, again, to service. So he actually created a school called the National Theater Workshop of the Handicap that was based out of New York City, and then opened a school in Maine. And it was really this place for 35 years where people of different background, different abilities could come for learning a skill set, right? Being part of a group, finding community. Well, Father Curry was also a Jesuit bread maker. He actually has a book called The Secrets of Jesuit Bread Making, a New York Times bestseller.
Awesome.
He also has The Secrets of Jesuit Soup Making. Not as successful, but very good.
That's because the other one's about bread, and everybody likes bread.
I
know.
Right.
Yeah.
Carbs. Can't fight it. And so as part of actually his school in Maine, he actually started inviting those in his program to help him start what he would say baking these luscious loaves of bread and sending them out to those donors and supporters as gratitude and kind of the miracle that was. And so he really understood this space of an individual with different abilities actually finding kind of new purpose, right? And it's about really teaching a woman or a man how to fish. Miss Constant, Ambassador Milstein now, she's now the ambassador to Malta, which is amazing. Wow. She got out of school, became a lawyer. Her first job out of law school was actually working with the Coast Guard and helping keep them out of trouble, is what she said.
Yeah.
And so what happened is, Vietnam. And so she saw her friends, that she knew so well go off and serve. And then when they came home, obviously not the most bright spot in our history, but the way our country treated our service members, but also when they came home, how broken they were, right? And how changed they were. And she was profoundly impacted by that. And so she's an individual who's a pioneer, who, if she believes in something, she goes all in. And so she continued to have service. She built a very successful business, but also built a bakery in Mount Kisco, New York, that focused on women in disadvantaged situations and really being able to give them employment. And then once they got on their feet, some casework support, getting promotion, opening a bank account, getting better childcare, whatever it might be. So both Father Curry and Connie were living very separate lives in a lot of ways, but really in service. And it was after 9/11 that both of them became more and more involved. So Father Richard Curry was called to Walter Reed to start serving more men and women coming home to a physical, emotional, and cognitive reality. There's very few people that can talk to an individual who is now missing a limb and, be able to speak to them from experience of what that is and call it a blessing. And then Ambassador Milstein started having more military spouses come and work at the bakery. And she was so confused by it because, how are these individuals, these women mostly, but also just military spouses, not making enough while their loved ones are being deployed? And so she started wanting to understand more about that. So she actually helped found and start Blue Star Families. And it was a national survey process that is now used today. The Pentagon uses it, but it's a survey that understands the lifestyle of a military family, the struggle, the stress, what it looks like, the financial aspect of it, right? The childcare. So she became a pillar in that space of really advocating. And that was, early 2000s in which she helped build that. I think it was around 2010 is when they launched. And then at this time, Father Curry started again becoming more involved, so much as he officiated a wedding at Walter Reed and recognizing these men and women, volunteer to serve their country. They're not going to want to volunteer to sit on the couch,
right.
And what are the quality opportunities out there for these individuals to really take advantage of and find purpose again and serve in their own way, but differently. So Dog Tag Bakery is created. Father Curry was actually a Jesuit priest for the majority of his life. It wasn't until the last 6 years of his life that he became a priest. And that was very specifically to serve the veteran population. A Marine very directly told him with a few 4-letter words that he had a calling to serve the military. And so that was enough for Brother Curry at the time at age 63 to go to his superior. He moved to Georgetown to go back to school. And at age 67 was ordained a priest in service to the military.
Wow.
So he ended up at Georgetown. He started the initiative at the university of an idea of a veteran program. And then really the recognition of creating Dog Tag Bakery came to fruition. At that time, Mrs. Milstein, Ambassador Milstein, had decided that she wanted to get more involved and moved to D.C. to do that and serving of military spouses. And so she moved to D.C. And again, it's kind of this, whether you believe in fate, Mother Earth, God, Allah, Buddha, or just people, life happened exactly as it should as they met. She wanted her to continue to have her product produced and to serve the military families and support them. Father Curry wanted to create a bakery that could serve as a living business school to veterans and military families. And so with his breads and her brownies, it became this beautiful match that we're able to open up 3206 Gray Street in the heart of Georgetown, Dog Tag Bakery. And so that's really the joining of two individuals' life of service and the core values that they held so tightly that allowed us to be who we are today And we really operate from that still. Our whole mission is to empower veterans that have service-connected disabilities, military spouses, and military caregivers to rediscover purpose and rebuild community. And so that's what we've done. Our bakery is beautiful. We're a nut-free bakery, so we encourage you to try everything. It's made with butter and sugar and love. Equal parts, probably all of that.
All of my favorite things. Well, maybe more so the butter and the sugar part.
Moment on the lips, ears on the hips, but it's totally worth it.
I'm stealing that.
How does she do that like that, right?
I'm writing it down.
I know.
Yeah. And so 2014 is actually when we launched our first pilot. So it's a 5-month fellowship program where we partnered with Georgetown University to provide a certificate in business administration. We utilized the opening of our bakery in which our fellows participated in really understanding kind of the process, the small business side of it, all the different aspects that we had to do, whether it was finding, putting in Wi-Fi in the building, finding the right trash component, ordering of product, and, starting to organize the hiring. Our first pilot class was really part of that. And so we were able to graduate our first class in November of 2014. We took some time to restructure. We launched cohort 2 in 2016. And then by 2017, we had started running 2 programs at a time. And so here we are today. We're in cohort 17 in DC and cohort 3 in Chicago. So it's been an epic journey in so many ways. And our fellowship continues to serve and provide impact every day.
What was your connection to Chicago?
So it's a great question. So we went across the country and looking at different cities. When we look at our program, and there's 5 components of our program. There's academic, there's experiential learning, there's networking, business planning, and the last but most important is wellness. Although we're not a religious organization, we're definitely motivated by the cure personalis of the Jesuits, right, which is serving the whole person. It's a holistic approach of the human side. So when we were going through the process of looking at, we needed 4 components. 1, we needed the military community to be able to recruit and be in the program. 2, we needed corporate America, because that's also a key partner in our ability to facilitate and fundraise in different aspects of our program. We needed an educational partner, which was key. And then we needed small business America, right? We needed this place that we could actually really thrive and find the support of our community. And that's what we found in Georgetown and Washington, D.C. And one of the biggest proponents is that Loyola University is now our partner in Chicago. And when we came to them, and after speaking to so many different universities truly across the country, Loyola was the first that said, we get it, right? This is a mission, and we want to be part of your mission, not a contract, right? And so that has been the game changer of truly understanding what our approach is and how we want to serve our mission. So Chicago's been wonderful so far, and we're excited for kind of growing that market in both the fellowship and also the bakery.
It's awesome.
Yeah, you were gonna think it was tied to being a Cubs fan.
Yeah, because I grew up in Chicago, and I was like, "Are you a Cub fan now, or are you just going to stick with the DC area with the Nationals?"
Is that the right team?
Yeah.
I've learned a lot from having an opinion in Chicago. Of like, you're one fan and you're not the other. It's a tough one. So I'm just I'm going to be Switzerland here and just say DC. I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, that won't start a fight.
Yeah.
That's the one I can handle. The other one, I'm like, well,
Meghan, let's talk a little bit about the bakery side of the business of the house.
Yeah, absolutely.
It looks like my co-host is an avid coffee drinker.
I'm actually due for afternoon coffee. Yes.
But you can drink any time during the day. And
I can drink it and go to bed. It does not matter.
All right.
That's phenomenal.
Yes. But it's a skill. I'm going to put it on my LinkedIn.
So, and she's already placed an order on. By the way, say your website again, because we always want to get the website intermittently placed.
So it's www.dogtaginc.org.
Okay.
And then from there, you can learn about the program. You can see the impacts of our alumni. And then you can also see, obviously, the bakery and all that it offers.
And you can order things.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you're not in DC and Chicago, you can order it and have it shipped.
So do you have a full bakery in both cities then?
So right now it's only in Washington, D.C. that we have a full brick and mortar. So it seats about 32 people. Inside the bakery, you'll come in and it kind of has like different spots of red, white, and blue. And then we have a chandelier that's actually mirrored off of the Vietnam Memorial Museum that was originally out of Chicago that represented over 50,000 of our service members lost in Vietnam. We have a smaller one. It's made of about 3,456 dog tags, but it's a chandelier that sits in our bakery. And so when you come in, there's different aspects of our program that you can read on the wall. There's different photos. There's a dog tag machine that we actually have right under the chandelier as well. And so we really want our community to be part of what we do, right? It's a very simple way of engaging, of talking about service in a very simple way. But again, we have breakfast, we have lunch, we have baguettes, we have delicious cake pops and brownies and cookies and cakes and pies. And it's like a nightmare, and it's the best and the worst.
She's speaking my love language.
I know, Jodi needs a drool cup. All right, so
just waiting for her to say coffee.
Yeah, we have some phenomenal products. We are nut-free certified as well, so we actually have a full certification process. And it's pretty amazing when, an individual, whether it's an adult or a kid, can walk into the bakery and really have anything. So that was something we actually made very specifically. And we partner with companies like Compass Coffee. Compass Coffee are two Marines that started their own coffee business in Washington, D.C. And then now we're partnering with Veteran Roaster out of Chicago, another organization that's a for-profit business that employs formerly homeless veterans.
Love it. I see coffee purchases.
I have to take notes, Yeah.
Coffee cups, coffee.
Because holidays are coming for you, Jodi.
Yeah. Coffee is a year-round holiday.
Yeah.
I know, that's awesome. And I've already been to your site. It's very easy to use, and I may have ordered some things.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah. The bakery business is certainly hand in glove with what's going on in the fellowship program, which you've shared some about. Maybe just dive into a little bit more detail. I know you mentioned you have had 17 and 3 cohorts at the 2 different locations. Yeah. How many are in a cohort? How do people engage, participate, and become part of that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate the question. So one, we specifically look at post 9/11 veterans to be in the program that have service-connected disabilities. We don't look at the disability rating by any means, but it's to ensure that they have the support of the VA and medical support. Military spouse of any background and military caregiver of any background. And so we have an online application that's pretty simple. You let us know, you kind of check the boxes to make sure you qualify. And then from there, it's a simple online application of 2 essay questions and then just some formal documentation that kind of shows and can prove whether service or connected service. And then from there, what we engage in a kind of 3-step interview process. The first phone call is actually from an alumni of ours. So the first person you get to talk to about the program is with someone that's already gone through it. And, we think it's the power of that. The next is kind of an interview with the program team member, so you know who you're working with every day. And the last is with leadership, myself or our directors, to be able to understand who the leadership is of the organization. If you get accepted, we have 16 fellows per cohort. So it's very much a high touch, high impact program. It is 5 months long and 4 days a week. We have a spring break right in between there. But the reason it's 5 months is that we went into the market and we went into the space and really looked at what was out there. And we recognize there's a lot of phenomenal short-term programs. There's a lot of other programs that are kind of university-wide in the sense of going back for your education in a 4-year university or 2-year university. But what if you're interested in getting back into the workforce? Or what if you're interested in just kind of dipping your toes back in education? It's kind of hard to find that. And what we also recognize is that when we looked at the transition phase, one, it's different for everybody, right? Veteran, spouse, and caregiver, it's different for everybody. And what we know is we're working with humans, and humans aren't complex, and they deserve the time and space to really think through certain questions like, what does it mean to have purpose today, right? The military is so successful because it's black and white. We talk about this, it's very, very much, it's a handbook for everything, and it's a very simple process, not simple, but very, very process oriented that you know exactly what's happening next, right? When you get out, there you are at a job fair wearing a blazer, introducing yourself as Meghan, right? And what have you lost? You've lost your identity. You've lost your community. You've lost kind of that really like the one thing, the societal norms of it, right? What do I wear to an event like that? And so this is a really cultural shift that we're recognizing in our program. And it's not just the simplicity of writing a resume, right? It's this ability of stepping back and kind of thinking, what do I need? Like, what do I want? I've served for 10 years. Do I really want to get back out into the workforce and work at a job where, I can't coach my son's t-ball, right? Or I can't coach my daughter's soccer team, or I can go on vacation, right? Do I need to think about, like the commute, right? Going on 95, right? And bumper traffic, that actually has a deterrent for a lot of people because of different experiences they had in service, right? And what they're trained to avoid. So there's all these considerations that you have to take into place. So what we also know is that, post-World War II, 48% of our veterans post-World War II started their own small businesses, right? That's significant. That's almost 50% of businesses out there were veteran owned. So who are they hiring, right? Family members, friends. And that's not just who are they? A contractor, right? They're 1099 people. This is a community. This is a network. Now, today, less than 6% of our veterans are starting small businesses, right? So think about that. When you get out, not only do you not know anybody in the workforce necessarily or have as many people in the workforce, you also again, the opportunities of being able to have that outreach, you don't even know where to start. So for our 5 months, we really take into all this whole account, right? First, wellness. Health is wealth. You can have the best business idea, you can have the best job opportunity, but if you haven't taken care of yourself, mind, body, and soul, it all becomes a moot point because you keep doing the same things over and over and expecting a different result. So part of our process is that through the 5 months, you do yoga, journaling, reflection, mindfulness. We even have a stage in our bakery because through Father Curry, we created a program called Finding Your Voice. And it's every other week for about 3 hours, you go through a theater course. And you learn the techniques of theater, which is also really empowering from a comms perspective. But it's also this time and space to realize, what is my story, right? Let's say you're a military spouse and you go to a dinner party. Oh my gosh, you're a military spouse. What's that like? Versus sitting in a job interview. Oh, it's interesting. You're a military spouse. What is that like? Right? 2 different tone of tenors, right? 2 different implications. What do you want to tell? And the power of knowing that narrative is what we really focus on. Learning how to tell you. And also we realize sometimes we've been telling ourselves the same story. And maybe it is part of it, but it's not the whole story, right? But you just haven't had the space nor the facilitation to really think through it. So wellness is a key aspect of every week of our program. The second, like we talked about, was academic. So we partner with Georgetown University, and then we also partner with Loyola University to provide a certificate of business acumen or administration based on the university. Now, that's theory, right? So this ability of an individual who, maybe graduated just high school, maybe took some college, maybe has had college, but hasn't been back in school in a while. This is a really strong tool, right? You can go through accounting, marketing. The whole point is that you go through all these different courses to dip your toe back in education, but also get the theory of business without, having to use your GI Bill. And so the power of also, for me, the power of passing some of these courses, like a communications class, right? Or an accounting class, right? This is also the confidence that you build and recognizing you have to earn and you have to pass every course. And then you graduate with a certificate, right? And that confidence of knowing that you did that, now you're a Hoya, right? Or now, obviously graduating from Loyola, what that can also do to your resume, what that can also do to your potential for future employment. So that's the academic side. Now, what we also know as adults, we're experiential, right? I'm like, throw me to the wolves. I'll come back leader of the pack. Give me a book and I'll probably fall asleep. Like, I'm just, I'm tangible. I need to get in there.
Yeah.
And so how we thought about this, right? Especially the demographic we're serving, it's very much that, right? So what we've done is that we use a bakery as this living business school. So our fellows are broken out into groups called rotations. And over the course of the fellowship, they actually go and build a business case for us of a product. So they work with our head chef and they say, listen, we want to make a chocolate chip cookie that has raisins in it and sparkles, whatever. And our chef will say, okay, well, let's look at the cost of that, right? We don't have raisins, so we're gonna have to buy that in bulk. We don't have enough sparkles or sprinkles, so we're gonna have to buy more, right? So how does this affect the design? What does it taste like? So they literally start working with the chef to kind of understand not just the what it looks like, but the taste of it, the cost of it, the labor behind it, right? Then they work with our catering team. Okay, you've built this like chocolate cookie cake. Now, the size of it, the weight of it, how are we going to package this? What does it look like? What's the stickering look like? What does it look like from a size and shipping? So what kind of like size box does it need, right? So now you're thinking about it from like this other side of like, okay, this is now a product. I have to figure out how to make one look really strong, but also how am I going to package this? It's, and then the cost of it. Then work with our marketing team. How do you market this, right? Yeah. What are the photos you have to take? Is there a video you take? Is it social? Is it, Instagram? Is it? And then they work, the last round was with our finance team, right? So, okay, now you know the cost of making the product, the labor behind it, the shipping, the handling, the packaging, and the marketing. And how much does it cost, right? $17.50. Well, now we need a profit on top of it, right? So now, and then at the end, they pitch it to DogTag. So each group pitches their product to us as an organization. So what it's looked like is we just happened to have a group of military spouses that were on the same group. And Mother's Day was coming up. So they built their business case was a Mother's Day offering. And what it ended up doing, and we actually implemented it, was they built 2 boxes, right? They had a big box and a small box. And they called it the Mini and Me. And they said, listen, as a mom, anytime I get something, my kids immediately take half of it, right? So the mini box had mini cookies, mini brownies, mini cupcakes. So as soon as you got that box in the mail, you just gave it to your kids and they left you alone, right?
And then the second box came. Yeah.
You hide in your closet.
Right. The second box that was part of it had lavender cookies, had beautiful tea, had a beautiful candle in there. So very much like the elegance of being able to support and celebrate Mother's Day. So they went through the whole process of building that box, pitching it, the cost of it, what we could do with it. And we ended up implementing it at the bakery as an online offering. So,
very cool.
A product, this all becomes a widget to understand the theory. So yes, there's marketing class, But what does it actually look like in today's world of a business, right? Yes, there's accounting, but what does it actually look like when you're building a product and what you have to take into consideration? So that's the experiential. The networking is that we actually bring in all of our different partners. So we have anything from Deloitte that will come in and do business chemistry with our fellows to, small 2 women business owners across the street that started a farm to taco business out of a farmer's market. And the whole goal of our network building and what we call learning labs is for our fellows to kind of build that network that they don't have available to them. So instead of telling them to go out and find it, we bring it internally, right? So we have a series of different learning labs, anything from personal and professional development. We have co-chairs that come in. We have strength finders to kind of understand, I perceive my leadership style this way in the military, but now as I get out, I'm realizing I'm not really that, right? Or I want to think through this. So the learning labs really we just had a huge day called Mock Interview Day, where we had about 44 different partners of ours from, again, Deloitte to Fiserv to Amazon to Google, all come in and do mock interview day. So our fellows practice pitching, right? They practice the process of actually interviewing with kind of the ability to have some space to kind of know to mess up a little bit, right? This is sometimes, for a lot of them, it's their first time interviewing. And so how do we actually prepare them, not just by writing a resume, but also the performance of it? And so our whole goal is to really bring our community in for our fellows to take advantage of. So post-graduation, they can reach out to that individual and say, hey, listen, I really appreciated your help and sharing your story about, starting your business. Could we have coffee? Or could we jump on a Zoom and just connect? Right. And so that enables a low-hanging fruit. They already met them. Mm-hmm. They know who they are. They've already had interaction. And now that's half of it is just the barrier, right? It's like going out to a networking event. I get anxious about it.
Have the mock interviews turned into jobs?
Yeah.
For graduates?
And I think this is the power of kind of when you think about networking, right? The power of networking is, so one of our alumni, her name is Meghan Murray. She came into our program as a military spouse. She was a dance instructor because that was one of the really only jobs that she could continue to have as they moved consistently. But she came into our program as her husband was retiring. He went to an engineering company, and about 2 months later, he realized he didn't want to be an engineer, right? Which is totally fair. But she was in our program recognizing she had to be the breadwinner. So through our program, she interviewed actually with PwC. They said, listen, we would love to hire, we don't have a role, but one of our contractors does. You should connect with them. By the time she graduated, that day she got an offer, right? And was able to go there, get promoted, and do super well. She's right now, actually at JP Morgan Chase, right? Working in their veterans group. And and this is what we provide a quality opportunity. We don't, and again, that's what we really want to focus on. Sorry, the last part, I've talked too much. I know I get too excited about this, is business planning. So our fellows actually do write a business plan. They come in and they don't have to make sure they have to do it, but it's really an exercise of, and some people do. They do actually successfully graduate with their capstone and actually put it into place. But it is this process of building a business plan and then being able to pitch it by the end of the cohort. So again, the 5 elements of our program are really about over 550 hours of work. And again, that includes class time as well.
I love it. And no, you didn't talk too much. I think you're passionate about it and it shows. And
why wouldn't they want to contact them, right?
Yeah. It makes perfect sense. No, I love all of that. So another kind of follow-up question to that. So if people hear this and they want to be involved as an individual or even as a business, how do they go about that? Is the vehicle your website? If they're nowhere near Washington or Chicago, how do they play a part?
Yeah, so on our website, there's a tab that says get involved. And so we do have a sign-up sheet there that people can sign up through. That's anything from, being part of the fellowship and offering your services, right? If you run marketing for an organization or a corporation and you want to provide that to, provide up your services, we would love the opportunity to do that. So, but there's also opportunities to volunteer at the bakery. We're always looking for support. Come in and scoop some cookies or package some brownies.
Do you need a taste tester? Yeah.
There's a bit of a wait list for that, but I can, people now, so I can maybe skip the line for you.
Excellent. I had to ask.
I know. Sometimes use your inside voice, Jodi. But as your program's grown, Meghan, you built up an impressive list of alumni. So do you have a favorite story you want to tell about one of those? You've sort of brought the human element to the equation today by talking about the stories, but what stands out for you?
There's so many, and sure, I'd love to. I mean, again, I have to be careful by not calling them my favorite, because that's like picking a favorite. I don't have one. Yeah. I'm just really proud.
Favorite kid.
And I think one person I'll mention is Teresa, And Teresa graduated from our program. She had been in the Air Force for 22 years, right? And especially in the last, I think, 5 years, she had very specifically been kind of like a chief of staff for some pretty large, big name generals, and had just been in service, right? So aggressive. She came into our program and had a lot of different ideas of creating her own business, of kind of an organizing business, and what it could look like. What happened is actually graduated from our program, and she realized that she needed to take care of herself, right? She just hadn't had time to spend with her family. She hadn't had time to kind of see her kids grow up and be more present. And so she took about a year off. And during that process, obviously she had VA support from her benefits, but she took a year off and just kind of allowed herself to have that space. We invited her back to the bakery. We were really fortunate. We had Vice President Kamala Harris come to the bakery one day, and it was wonderful. And we invited a bunch of our alumni to come and meet her. Teresa was one of them, with another of our team, another alumni by the name of Bonnie. And when they're there, this kind of like hoopla, excitement of meeting the vice president, Bonnie's like, "What are you up to, Teresa?" And she's like, "I've just been really taking care of myself, and I'm starting to look back to the workforce." And she's like, "You know what? Come work for us." And it's called Echoing 5. It's actually a government contracting company that does a variety of projects. And Teresa joined and has been down there for, I think, 3 years, is wildly successful there. They've also now actually hired 2 more alumni of Dog Tags. Wow. So I think it's a team of 6 or 7 to include the CEO. And I think 5 of them are Dog Tag alumni. I think the power of that story is that, success is not defined one way, right? Teresa recognized that she needed, through our program, to take time for herself, to take time for her family. And that is wildly successful. And by her doing that, she was then in the space to understand the opportunities that are in front of her. And again, Bonnie reaching out and saying, "Listen, come here, come work for us." That wasn't a Dog Tag thing. That was a Dog Tag, network thing. That was our community supporting each other. And now that there's, again, they have 5 team members, 5 alumni now, Dog Tag, working at this one company. That's all done by the community that we build, right? We have a very strong alumni group. We have monthly Zooms. We have a weekly newsletter. We have an advisorship so that they can actually engage with professional development, at no cost to themselves, about, anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, as much as they want with a team member. They also have a mentorship program. And so I think what makes me most proud is to see the alumni become the force, right? And to be that network and that community and that advocating for one another. I just don't think, that means in some ways we've done our job, right? And we've created something that's bigger than us. And I think that's where you create sustainability. And I think that's where you create sustainable change.
Echoing 5 is almost like a Dog Tag annex company.
It is. Yeah. It is for sure.
Oh, their employees are there. Yeah.
Oh, is it time for jokes?
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Wait, I had it. Why not? There's just a couple bakery jokes. They're just one-liners.
Oh,
because
it's so hard to avoid. You got to add them in. You said the icing on top, so you've already started earlier. I kind of
said that, but I'll do another icing one. What did the cupcake say to the icing? You don't have to answer it, because if you answer it, then you cheated. All right, I'd be muffin without you. Right?
That's pretty good.
What do you call it when someone illegally bakes bread?
What?
Baking bad. And then one more. Aren't they stupid?
That was actually terrible.
It's so good.
Should I do one more?
No.
Of course.
Wait, what happens to a baker if they steal another's cream pie recipe?
Cream pie recipe.
They get taken into custody. All right, so let's go. Are we going to play the military minute right now?
We have to end on a positive note after that.
By the way,
thing is, Megan, he probably spent the whole morning, instead of doing his job looking for jokes.
Well, so all of our listeners now are going to think I don't work.
Yeah, maybe in good company.
I got to get John Broda's name in here one more time.
Yeah.
John Broda from Armed Forces Financial Network.
Absolutely.
John Broda. But he sent me a note the other day and said, Meghan Ogilvie is an awesome American.
Oh,
wow. And you just told your story, and I think our listeners will agree with John Broda.
Feels so generous. I feel, again, I think I didn't think finding Dog Tag, being part of Dog Tag, would help me find my purpose in my community. And so, again, I feel exceptionally honored each day, and great responsibility for it. But I can't help but say individuals like John Broda really are what have made Dog Tag what we are. The partnerships, the engagements, the willingness to give people's time, energy, and effort to our mission. It's humbling every day. So I appreciate it so much.
We have all lived through the financial crisis of 2008, 2009. You were there, Megan. We were there. We survived. You survived. You found your calling, and I'm glad you're doing what you're doing for us and for our country. So let's play a quick game, okay?
Yes. So hang on with us for just another minute. We're going to play a game called the Military Minute. And we like this game. We're fond of it. So last episode, our question was about Sandbox. So that was Sam Meek, CEO of Sandbox, was our guest last time.
Yeah.
And the question was, how many letters to recruits in training and deployed service members has Sandbox sent? And so if you answered on our social media post, what number, Tom?
8.5 million.
Good job reading. Yes, 8.5 million letters. That's a lot of postage. That's how many letters Sandbox has sent. And so if you answered that correctly on either of our social media posts announcing the podcast, watch again on our social media thread to see if you were announced as the winner, and you will receive $50 for yourself and $50 for a charity of your choice.
And maybe that charity might be Dog Tag Bakery.
Maybe. And so this week's Military Minute, oh, wow, we went pop culture this time.
I know. I'm not sure about this question, but don't answer it. Don't answer it, Meghan, okay? Because you might, if you know it, then I'm worried about you, but
so
give it your best
challenge
shot.
Accepted.
All right.
Tom's a bit of a pop culture guy. So pop culture, relevant to the bakery industry. So good job being relevant.
I know.
What was the name of the first bakery opened in the United States? And I think you've written down some extra tidbit type information.
Yeah, we don't have to go into that too. But by the way, do you know the answer, Meghan, or not?
I do not. I do not know the answer.
Well, good. Don't spoil it.
So I'm just, random factoids from Tom here. Some say Egyptians pioneered banking and the art of banking. Was that supposed to be baking?
Oh, it's supposed to be baking.
Oh my gosh!
I'm so into banking, and now I'm into baking.
That's why I had to read it, because I'm like, this whole thing has been about a bakery.
It is the art of banking.
It's about banks. That makes no sense.
But that was back in 168 BC. You remember those days?
I know. I was 5.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Military Minute topic for this week. What was the name of the first bakery opened in the United States? Watch for this podcast to drop, answer correctly, and then the same prize may be coming your way. $50 for you and $50 to a charity of your choice.
Love it.
Bring us home, Tom.
Meghan, thank you. If you enjoyed today's episode, go out to afbank.com, subscribe to the show, and make sure to rate us or leave us a comment on your favorite podcast platform, such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. So you're going to be a global phenom.
Yes.
You already are, but
Tom's 6 fans will follow you too.
Thank you so much. This is so generous of you all. I mean that. And thank you guys so much for providing this platform. I mean, this is also so generous and so considerate. So thank you so much for the time.
Well, our paths will cross again with the AMBA or whatever other military like-minded organization. We will be back in touch. Take care.
Thank you.
Copyright 2022 Armed Forces Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All non-Armed Forces Bank owned apps, websites, company names, and product names are trademarks or registered trademarks of their respective owners. Their mention does not imply any affiliation with or endorsement by Armed Forces Bank of them or their products and services. They are merely used as examples of the many available apps, companies, and websites that offer similar services. Before using any app or website, you should carefully review the terms of use, data collection, and privacy policy. Apps may have an initial cost or in-application purchase features. This information is general in nature and is not intended to be legal, tax, or financial advice. Although Armed Forces Bank believes this information to be accurate, it cannot ensure that it could change. Statements or opinions of individuals referenced herein are their own, not Armed Forces Bank. Consult an appropriate professional concerning your specific situation and respective governing bodies for applicable laws, such as IRS.gov for current tax law. Armed Forces Bank, the Armed Forces Bank logo, and the Militarily Speaking logo are registered trademarks of Armed Forces Bank.